Good morning, Doc. I was just wondering, what was Pat Beverly able to do in practice yesterday, and is he available today?
He's not available, but he had a good practice. We didn't do a lot of live stuff, and he didn't do any live stuff. So he's a lot closer, but he's just not ready yet.
Thank you, Doc.
Move over to Dan Wyke.
Can you hear me all right? Sorry, I'm in the gym.
It sounds like you're at Comiskey Park.
For young players, it can be challenging to go from a starting role to the bench and back and forth and stuff, but it seems like Shaman has really found his sort of rhythm in this role the last few games on both sides of the court.
Yeah.
How challenging was that for him this year?
I think it's been tough. I mean, it's clear that the more minutes any player gets, obviously, he gets more comfortable. And with Sham, that's the case as well. Especially Sham's a guy that gets shots off of others. And so the more minutes you play, the better opportunities you'll get offensively. Where I think Sham has really improved, and you can see it on the floor, is defensively. And that's where we needed to improve. But listen, we put him at the point, at the two, we move him around, he starts, he doesn't start, he plays 35, 40 minutes in a game, or play 3 minutes in a game. That's tough, and to his credit, he's handled it pretty well.
Let's move over to Cam.
Hey, good morning, Coach. Hey, you've been wearing the voting mask, and you've been spouting the virtues of voting for the last couple of weeks now. Were you surprised by the number of players on your team or in the NBA that weren't registered to vote?
I'd already known it. So the message was more towards everybody. One of the reasons the Coaches Association, with Lloyd Pierce and Rick Carlisle, both with their leaderships, have been phenomenal in being actively recruiting players to register and vote. I think this last week clearly helped the message, made our jobs a lot easier.
Thank you, sir.
We have a question from Mark Medina down in Orlando.
Given the state of events this past week, what jumped out to you with how Kawhi tried to navigate everything in terms of his leadership of the team?
Just the same. He's calm, gives his points. I guess when he spoke, I wasn't in the room at that point. It was good because everyone was very emotional. And Kawhi, he removes that component. And so I think a lot of times in emotional situations, especially during games, I can tell you, when you hear the calm voice, it sure sounds better. And I think he did the same thing when we had our team meeting in the hallway. He was phenomenal.
Where do you think his calmness is going to play, even just when you take a big picture look at this whole setup and getting acclimated here?
I don't know. I think he's able to process things as this is the game. This is what I'm supposed to do. It really doesn't matter the arena. So I think his processing is pretty clever.
We'll stay in Orlando with Brian Mahoney.
After this pause the last few days, it had been a pretty fast-moving first round. You guys are playing every other day.
Yeah.
With everything that went on, how deep it all was, does it feel like where were we a little bit? Like it's been.
No, I tell you, it feels good. Shoot, man. I tell you, I think we needed the break. Once the game started, it was every other day. And I think that the league was really following what the players said they wanted, because they wanted to try to get to games so they can get out of the bubble. But I think if they rethought that one, they would have never had games like that much. I think more than anything that break probably helped everybody.
Even though you guys just came off a great.
Yeah. I mean, you could use us as maybe the bad example. When you play great, you can't wait to get back on the floor. And you don't want the other team to have to regroup. But we both had a chance to do it. So I don't think it's any disadvantage.
Move over to Miriam.
Well, sort of along those lines. Does that last game feel like a million years ago, or what can you take from it and put it into today?
Well, you can take a lot from it, and let's see if we can put it back together. Because you do have that sense of kind of starting back, not over, but you definitely lose some rhythm in that. Both teams do, but the winning team would probably always want to play as soon as possible. The team that lost probably wants as much time off as possible. But that happens in the normal playoffs. That would happen. And so we can look at it like that.
We'll move down back to Orlando to Tanya.
These 2 days that were basically not about basketball at all, maybe a day and a half, 2 days. And then now the games start again. Has it shifted back to being completely about basketball, or are you still trying to talk to people outside, have conversations?
Yeah, I do a pretty good job. I have way more experience than them. People know I have a box, and on game day, the box is empty. I don't answer the phone. I don't talk to you or anyone, and I start the night before. I just have always done that. I frustrate my loved ones, I can tell you that. But it is what it is. The only way I can get into my mental space is by keeping it clear. And then at the games and when we have our other off times, I can do what I think most people should be doing, and that's getting involved in the political process.
Move over to Kerry.
How you doing, Dr. Kahari Jones? Can you talk about the process of everything, the state of mind of the players that's been going on with these recent events and things of that nature?
Listen, I think they can't wait to get back on the floor and do their jobs. The greatest part about being a player is when you get between the lines, the world is forgotten about for that 2.5 hours, and you can get to something you actually love and enjoy, the competition of basketball. So to me, I think the freedom they will get on the court would be almost a release mechanism. At least that's what I'm hoping for.
We'll go back to Dan Wyke between sets.
Sorry about that, Doc. You were able to go see Austin play yesterday in a gym you've probably seen him play AAU games in or something at some point. How important was it for you to be able to unplug and check out after everything that's happened, your role in all of this over the last 2 days?
That was awesome for me, I got to tell you. I was going to go to that game, the game that was canceled, because I hadn't been in the Austins. I think it's been the 3 of ours. But I told him it's unfair because he's watching me and Seth. So I thought he had an advantage. But anyway, for me, it was great just to sit there. It was funny. I usually bring like a notepad. I didn't have anything. I just kind of sat and watched the game. You still coach during the game, not him, but just both teams, and you watch what you could do. And I got a little mental scouting in. But more importantly, it was a great detox for me to sit there and enjoy basketball in a gym that I've been a fan, a spectator, literally hundreds of times.
Thanks, Doc. That's all we have.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. No AAU parents yesterday. That was awesome.
Thanks, everybody, for joining. We'll see you post-game.